Hello. When we hear about massive federal tax packages like the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, the OBBBA, it's easy for our eyes to glaze over. We hear about trillions of dollars, complicated tax brackets, and regulatory codes, and it feels like a completely different world. But federal tax policy is not just a math problem, it's a moral document. It's a direct reflection of a government's priorities. It tells us exactly who our elected leaders are fighting for and who they're leaving behind. Today, we're going to look past the political spin and examine the actual ledger. Who did this law help? Who did it hurt? And why your vote is the only tool we have to change it. In other words, we're getting behind the numbers. Let's look at the facts of who this legislation prioritized. The OBBBA permanently extended and expanded major tax cuts, directing most of its long-term financial benefits toward high earners and large corporations. The law permanently lowered the top individual income tax rate from 39.6% to 37% for the country's highest earners. It weakened the federal estate tax, allowing wealthy families to pass tens of millions of dollars to heirs tax-free. For big businesses, the benefits were equally significant. It brought back immediate bonus depreciation, enabling corporations to write off capital expenses instantly. It lowered taxes on foreign operations and created specific tax breaks for real estate trusts and developers. If you're an investor or run a major corporation, this bill was an undeniable victory. But federal budgets must balance out. Trillions of dollars in tax breaks don't just appear, they must be paid for. Independent economic analysis, including reviews by the Congressional Budget Office, reveal that this relief is being funded by shrinking the social safety net that working families depend on. The lowest 10% of earners in our country are projected to see their incomes drop by an average of 3.1% over the next decade due to these structural changes. The bill funds corporate tax cuts by tightening Medicaid eligibility rules, restricting health care access for vulnerable families. It implements historic spending cuts to nutrition assistance, adding strict work requirements for SNAP that could disqualify millions from food support. Additionally, while the corporate tax cuts are permanent, modest provisions for everyday workers like deductions on tips and overtime are temporary and set to expire after 2028. When you combine these safety net cuts with the rising cost of tariff trades, working class households are the ones footing the bill. This brings us to the core reason why we're here. How did this happen? And more importantly, how do we change it? The answer is in the ballot box. Tax laws are not written by accident, nor are they unchangeable laws of nature. They are written by people who elect or by those who get elected when you don't vote. Every representative, senator, and president holds the pen that decides who pays taxes and who gets a break. When a voter turnout is low, when we decide that politics doesn't matter, we hand that pen over to well-funded special interests who are more than happy to write the laws in their own favor, even if it means hurting the rest of us. The distribution of wealth in the OBBBA is a direct result of who participated in the system. Your vote is your voice, and in shaping our nation's priorities, that makes it necessary. If you believe our tax system should reward hard work instead of just accumulated wealth, and if you believe a budget should protect our most vulnerable communities, you have a civic duty to act. Do your research if you want proof. For those who are not rich, just check your account at month's end. And if you're rich, of course, you don't need to check. It's obvious. Don't let the complexity of tax policy keep you on the sidelines. Some say my one vote doesn't matter, doesn't count. That's only partially true. If you don't vote, that vote doesn't count. But if you do vote, it can help turn this mess around. Get registered to vote. Check your registration status and talk to your neighbors about these facts. Do your own research. Let's use our collective power at the ballot box to elect leaders who will prioritize budgets that serve all of us and not just the rich. Vote. Thank you.